Hey guys, this is Main Phase 3, and today we're going to do a video on the top 10 decks that I think in this format can still do good and still be budget. Like a player just coming in the game can sit there and spend like $80 and build the whole deck, including extra deck on some of these decks. But yeah, yeah, these are my top 10. These are my option. These are all how I feel. Maybe y'all don't feel the same way. Maybe y'all sit there like, what? No, that deck is $3 billion gajillion dollars. But I don't care. This is how I see it. How I see these decks being good and budget. So we're gonna do top 10, and we're gonna start off with Elemental Heroes. This deck has always been good. This deck has always been a tier 2 deck. It's always been a good deck, especially the Bubble Beat version. You can probably spend like maybe $80 to $100, build the whole deck, including the extra deck, and still be able to compete with the meta. This deck can still beat dragons. It can beat Prophecy. It might not win every single time. You might not top, but you can sit there and still have a fun time playing this deck and win a lot of the time too. You
You can beat dragons, you can beat prophecies, but not consistently.
Yeah, not consistently.
They basically have to draw bad.
Yeah, but I mean, you can still do it. That's the first deck. I say you spend like maybe $80 to $100. You built the whole deck, including main deck, and it's still a fun, good deck.
Yeah, including the extra deck.
Second deck would have to be Rabbit, Dino Rabbit. I don't think this probably isn't the best deck this format, but a first turn Logia is still an irritating thing to go up against. It might not affect dragons that much because dragons are like, oh no, it's just one card. Okay, I'll just summon 30, 50 billion other cards. But I mean, a first turn Logia against a lot of other decks are still going to be annoying. Against Fire Fist, you negate their bear, they're going to be a little bit mad. Prophecies negate their little guy who searches summon. They're going to be a little bit mad. Against a lot of other decks. I mean, it might not be the best deck this format, but it's still a budget deck, especially since the cards came in 10s, that you can build with probably like $50, build this whole deck, including the extra deck, and it won't cost you much. The cards aren't hard to find, and yeah, it's just it can still be a good deck. It might not be the best, but it can still be good. For the
Next
third
up is
deck?
dragons.
No. Maybe the main deck, not the extra deck, though. We got Constellars. Constellars are a good budget deck this format because the main XYZ you need is this guy right here, and he's only like $5 to $8 depending on the person. I mean, okay, M7 maybe a little bit expensive, maybe the Gaia, but I mean that's like you only need one of each in the extra. That's like what, $30 total.
And you don't even really need that.
Yeah, you don't even go into M7 that much. This deck can still be good. This deck can still do very good, actually, this format. This deck, I feel like this deck might top sometime. I hope this deck tops sometimes. Probably spend maybe like $100 on this deck, maybe. Especially since it was a hidden arsenal deck, the cards aren't expensive. So this is a very good deck to try and build and be able to compete with the meta. Next up, we have Evil Swarms. I know some people might go like, no, that deck's not, not cheap and all that. But the deck really isn't that much. The deck went down a lot. Ophion used to be like $20 to $30. Now it's like $10 to $12. That's because people are understanding that Evil Swarms are good, but they're not as good as they got told out to be when they first came out.
Essentially, Evil Swarms, everything in the main deck that you'll need for the most part is like $2 or $3. I think there's one card that's like $5, and then Ophion is $10 to $12 each.
Yeah, there's not much.
Ophion is literally the most expensive card.
So you can build a tier 1 deck and spend probably a good $80 to $100. Not even spending that much. Maybe the whole extra deck altogether, probably like $50, and then the main deck probably another $50. And you just built a tier 1 deck, probably maybe being able to top sometime. And spend a good $100? That sounds a lot better to me than a $1,000 deck.
Prophecies.
Evil Swarms. Next we have Battling Boxers. Some people might not agree with this, but I think this deck can be really good. This deck can be very good, especially because of this one guy. If y'all know what this guy does, I actually play this deck. It didn't cost too much to make this deck.
We did a deck profile on it.
Yeah, okay. If y'all saw the deck profile, yeah. The deck cost me probably like $70. Everything is common. Everything is
rare.
Common or rare, and the deck is very good. I beat multiple Dragon players. I beat multiple Prophecy players. I beat multiple Evil Storm players,
including me.
Yes, including my friend over there, Lucas. If y'all haven't known who he is yet, let me show y'all. Say hey, Lucas. 1 second. Where's the little camera switch thing?
Let me be cousin it.
Okay. This is Lucas, guys.
Hey guys, what's up, hoes?
He's someone helping out with the channel.
What's up, hoes?
Lucas, you're ugly.
You right. That's why I'm hiding my face.
But, yeah. The deck is not expensive at all. The deck can be very good. This guy can be a very big irritation. I find this deck, especially in the next meta, I mean, not next meta, but the next format, especially since it's going to be slower, this deck is going to be very good, I feel like. Then next we have Wind-Ups. Wind-Ups went down a lot in price, especially since most of the cards that were expensive came in 10s. This deck won't cost much. Probably the most expensive card, maybe, is... Actually, this deck can be a little bit more pricey depending on what card you want to play. If you want to play, like, what's that one card called? The Beast, where it gets Beast Warriors and Warriors.
Mojo?
No. The one card I used to search out.
Tanky.
No. The XYZ. It takes 3 to play it in 6 Sams.
Yeah, Invoker.
Yeah, Invoker, probably that's the most expensive card you have to pay. And you only need maybe 1 or 2, and they can be like $15. So that's like $30 on one card. But I mean, like, probably like $100, you got a good deck. This deck can keep up with the format. This deck is still fast. This deck can still be good. It might not keep as fast with dragons, but it can definitely keep up with most of the decks. It's still really fast.
I'd say it's pretty slow, this format, though. But next format, it'll be just fine because the format will have slowed down a lot because dragons are definitely getting hit somehow. Yeah. I don't know how, but they're getting hit.
Probably they'll just hit the card
that's another video entirely.
Yeah.
So let's just move on.
But I still think it can keep up. Just with dragons, it might be slower, but that's like the only deck that's slower than. And Judgment. Judgment is the only thing that keeps Prophecies being faster than this deck. But I still think this deck can be very good as format if you want to build it. It's not much either. And then, of course, we have 6 Sams. 6 Sams can keep up with the meta. They can. 6 Sams, special. This deck is too good. It might only be tier 2, but this deck, even if you want to hollow out everything in the deck, probably like $120 hollowing. Not even $120, probably like a good $100, same as Wind-Ups. $100 deck. Not much. And still really good. Can still top. Maybe not. That's because people aren't trying it out too much. Maybe it can't top. But I still feel like this deck can top. If you put the right cards, if you make the right plays, this deck can still do good. This deck can beat dragons. This deck can beat evil storms. This deck can beat prophecies. It can still do good. So I still think this deck has potential, and this deck can still do stuff. So it's still a good deck to play. Try and play this format. Then we got Fire Kings. Fire Kings are getting more support, and they still good, especially with the loop they have going on. This deck can be very good. This deck can hurt many decks, especially if you get the loop with destroying him, Circle of the Fire Kings, I think, is destroy him, especially some of the other one, and just keep going on and on and on. This deck is still good, this format. It might not be as fast, it might not be able to keep up with the meta. It's kind of a slower deck, but if you pull it off, this deck can be very good, this format. At a mere like $80 for the whole deck. Maybe extra deck, $100 probably, $90. It's a good deck. You can build a whole deck very cheap, and it can still do good against the meta. And then we got Light Sworns. Light Sworns are very good because of being able to play triple Judgment Dragon, triple Lumina, or whatever her name is. This girl, Yanahu, like her, whatever her name is. The deck is pretty fast. The deck spams out beaters, and it spams out Judgment Dragons, of course. So I feel like the deck still has potential to go against the current meta. The deck can still do very good. And probably, like, especially since everything's in common, you can get everything out of raw yellow pretty much that you need. Probably $80 for the whole deck. And you have a good deck. It's a fun deck, too, at that. So I think this is a good deck to try and build, just to have something fun to play around until the next what's the word called? The next format. Yeah, I couldn't think of the name more at the moment. The next format comes. I think it's a good deck to try out. And then for the last deck,
deal 9K.
We have Agents. Agents is still a pretty good deck. It can still do stuff. Lost Sanctuary. It can still do stuff. You can get every single card you need out of the structure deck that they have.
Well, not every single card.
Well, just about.
A lot of the main deck you can get out of there, and then you can just do stuff.
And then the rest of the cards you need are like about
cheap.
$5 each.
They're cheap.
Yes, very cheap. This deck is very cheap. Probably like $80. You can build the whole deck.
3 Venus, 3 Shine Ball.
That's pretty much all you need. The Venus, the Shine Ball, the whatever that
and
other
then
thing is.
1 or 2 of every other agent except for like Mars and
yeah. The
Jupiter.
deck is very good still. Probably not the best deck out of the decks that I showed, but it's still a good, fun deck to try out. I suggest playing it if you want to try something fun to play, something very cheap that you can afford like that you won't have to spend like $3 billion on. It's a fun deck to try out.
And also, if you get the bonus pack, you can get the giant Hyperion.
Yeah, the giant
that
Hyperion.
you can't use in a duel, by the way.
Yeah, please read below that it says cannot be used in a duel. Do not try and use it in a duel. Do not try and be like, I'm gonna summon Ophion.
You
Game.
mean Hyperion?
Hyperion? I said Ophion. But y'all know what I mean. I think it's a fun deck to try out. It's a good deck. And I suggest if you want something fun to play, try this out. But yeah, guys, that's my idea of this top 10 decks to try out this format. They're all fun decks. They're all cheap decks. They're all like a good $80 to $100 each, probably trying to build one, and they're not much. All the decks are fun, and they can all compete with the meta. These are my top 10 decks. I hope y'all enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see y'all later. Well, not see y'all, but y'all know what I mean.